So questions create possibilities. Questions, the right questions, open your mind to a new awareness which you did not have before. Okay? So here we are. Get your notebooks and pencils ready. If you can write down the answer, do so. If you cannot, also it's fine. See what awareness comes up. Even if you want, you can write one word in your notebook. So here comes question number one. What if nothing is wrong with you right now? What if nothing is wrong with you right now? What if this moment is not a problem to solve, but a door to open? What if you do not need to fix yourself before you can move forward? What if the pressure you feel is not proof that life is hard, but proof that something in you is ready to change now? What if you could meet yourself today with kindness instead of judgment? What if the very thing you have been resisting is carrying a hidden gift for you? What if your life is not happening to you, but it is happening for you, for your benefit? What if today could be less about getting the right answer and more about asking a better question? What if possibility begins the moment you stop concluding? What if you are far more powerful than you have allowed yourself to be? What are you noticing in your body right now? What are you noticing in your breath right now? What are you noticing in your mind right now? What are you noticing in your emotions right now? What are you carrying that does not even belong to you? What have you been holding so tightly that you have forgotten that you are holding it? What would happen if you gave yourself permission to simply notice without trying to change anything as yet? What if awareness itself is already a form of freedom? What is here right now that you have been too busy to acknowledge? What truth is quietly waiting for your attention? What in your life have you been tolerating for so long? What have you made normal that is actually draining your energy? What thought do you repeat in your mind so often that it has started sounding like the truth to you? What is the story about yourself you have been telling so many times that you forgot that it's only a story? What pressure are you living under that you never consciously chose for yourself? What expectation are you serving that is not serving you? Where have you been so attached and loyal to struggle in your life? Where have you confused stress with importance? Where have you confused being busy with being alive? Where have you been functioning in the auto mode or the autopilot mode? What are you doing because it is familiar, not because it is true for you? What keeps showing up in different disguises in your life? What pattern has been occurring in your life again and again? What if the issue is not the job, not the person, not the money or the time, but the pattern which is there below it? What if this recurring challenge is asking for a different consciousness, not just a different strategy? What do you always do when you feel uncertain? What do you always do when you feel unseen? What do you always do when you feel afraid? What do you always do when you feel that you might fail? What do you always do when life does not go according to your plan? And what does that pattern cost you? What has that pattern protected you from? What has that pattern prevented you from receiving? What if that pattern is not your identity? What if the pattern is only habit of response? What if a habit can change the moment it is seen clearly? Who are you without the story of not being enough? Who are you without the story of not of being too late? We say we are too late. Who are you without the story of being behind? Who are you without the story that life must be hard? Who are you without your story that you have to earn rest? Who are you without the story that you must make everyone happy in order to belong? Who are you without the story that struggle makes you valuable? Who are you without the story that your past gets to decide your future? Who would you be if you are not defending your limitations? Who would you be if you stopped introducing yourself to yourself through your wounds and your pain? Who would you be if you stopped making your fear your advisor? Who would you be if you trusted your own being a little bit more? What do you truly desire? What do you desire beneath what you say you desire? I'll repeat that one. What do you desire beneath what you say you desire? What are you really hungry for? What are you really asking for when you say you want success? What are you really asking for when you say you want money? What are you really asking for when you say you want love? What are you really asking for when you say you want peace? Is it possible that what you want is not just achievement but ease? Is it possible that what you want is not just recognition but freedom? Is it possible that what you want is not just security but aliveness? What if the desire in your heart is not foolish at all? What if your deepest desire is intelligent? What if your longing is actually guidance? What if your inner wisdom has been whispering for a long time? What choice is here, right now? What choice have you been pretending is not available for you? What would choice look like in this situation? What is that one choice that would create a little more space in your life? What is small? What is one small choice that would create a little more peace? What is one small choice that would create a little more truth? What is one small choice that would create a little more self respect? What is one small choice that could create a little more energy? What is one small choice that future you would thank you for when you look back? What if you don't need a giant leap right now? What if one clean choice can begin changing the whole direction of your life? What if movement matters more than perfection? What if clarity comes from choosing, not waiting endlessly? What judgment of yourself are you ready to destroy now? What resentment are you tired of carrying? What old disappointment has stayed longer than it should? What version of yourself has completed its job? What role are you playing that no longer fits your life? What are you trying to prove? And to who? What if you no longer needed to prove your worth? What if you no longer needed to carry yesterday into tomorrow? What if forgiveness is less about the other person and more about freeing your own energy? What if letting go is not losing but creating space? What is ready to leave your life because you are no longer available for it? What if this is not the end of something, but the beginning of something? What if the crack is where the light enters? What if this challenge becomes a fuel for your life, the energy for your life? What if this uncertainty is a clearing space for a truer life? What if ease is not laziness? What if joy is not a distraction? What if peace is not a weakness? What if playfulness is actually power? What if being gentle with yourself would make you stronger? What if your life could work with more ease than you were taught? What if you stopped fighting life and started collaborating with it? What if possibility is much closer than your mind says it is? What if the next chapter of your life requires less force and more presence? What if the future is asking you to become available to a bigger life? What will you no longer pretend not to know? What truth will you honor today? What conversation will you stop postponing? What kindness will you offer yourself? What request will you make? What support will you allow? What actions will create momentum in your life? What can you choose today that your old self would avoid, but your future self would celebrate? Let me repeat that. What can you choose today that your old self would avoid, but your future self would celebrate? What can you choose today that feels light, true, and quietly powerful? What would it be like to trust that one choice? Who are you becoming as you ask these questions? Who are you becoming as you release what is no longer true? Who are you becoming as you choose with more awareness? Who are you becoming as you stop outsourcing your power? Who are you becoming as you stop rehearsing limitations? Who are you becoming as you let ease be important for you? Who are you becoming as you let joy be important for you? Who are you becoming as you let truth be important for you? Who are you becoming as you let possibility matter to you? Who are you becoming when you stop fighting yourself? Who are you becoming when you begin to live life as a choice, not as a conditioning? Who are you becoming when you remember that you are not broken? What would your mornings feel like? What would your work feel like? What would your relationships feel like? What would your body feel like? What would you like your inner world to feel like? What would you like your future to feel like? What would become possible if your life felt lighter? What would become possible if your life felt more joyous? What would become possible if your life felt more like your life? What would become possible if you no longer lived in reaction? What would become possible if you lived in creation? What question do you need most to keep with you today? What truth has touched you here? What possibility opened up for you here? What surprised you here? What strengthened you here? Now, what if you trusted this opening and this awareness, even if you cannot explain it as yet? What if one powerful question could keep changing your life long after this moment is over? What if you left here less burdened and more available to yourself? What if you left here remembering that ease, joy, and clarity are not far away? What if you left here knowing that you cannot choose again? What if you left here knowing that you are not stuck but only paused? What if you left here knowing that life can become a creation, not a burden? And what if this moment is the moment you begin to live your life from possibility? So, guys, be in the awareness that is showing up. Let these questions work for you, open up possibilities.